Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SFSU TV. I'm your host, Justin Mendoza. Today, we'll be discussing a change in content of social networking and how it can be used to brighten up the spirits of online users. Go Inspire Go is a nonprofit website that tells inspiring stories, and they have been featured on AOL, Yahoo, and Good Morning America. Joining me today is founder Toan Lam. Thanks for joining us, Toan.
Thank you for having me, Justin.
Thank you for coming in today. Well, so first question. So I read from your blog that Go Inspire Go has been a huge hit all over the world, especially in Asia and Africa. Could you tell us how they have been responded to the website?
Well, absolutely. Well, this whole idea started off after I was laid off from my TV gig. I was a TV reporter here in the Bay Area, worked at Cron 4 News, and I was given the pink slip. So I was really excited because I wanted to change directions. I had been reporting TV for news for about 10 years, and I wanted to do something using my own resources and talents to help people. So the layoff was great. So started off with the idea of setting up this YouTube site with stories, character-driven stories, and at the end of the stories, there's a link to where you can go to help the people that we feature, the inspiring people. So many stories that we featured, we've gotten so many people from around the world that have emailed in and told us about either how they donated to that person's organization or how they've helped them with supplies or support. So all around the world, almost all of the continents.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So what would you say has been the most life-changing story so far?
There's way too many. One recently that we just did, it's timely, so I'll tell you about this one, was about this little 5-year-old girl named Phoebe. She's from San Francisco, and she was on her way to school this time last year and saw some homeless people on the streets. And she had asked her parents, why do these people look so sad, and how can we help them? And so her parents told her about homelessness and the growing epidemic of homelessness given the economy. And what had happened was she says, well, who helps them? And they told her the food bank. So she said, before I graduate and get promoted to kindergarten, I want to raise $1,000 collecting cans, because that's what Sissy and I do on the weekends, is what she said. She wants to give it to the food bank. And the adults were like, cans? Are you serious? Long story short, 2 months pass. She starts off writing letters, asking people for cans and donations. People start matching them. Media picks up on the story. She raises almost $4,000, which the food bank can turn that money with their subsidies and turn it into almost 18,000 meals. So we put a link up at the end. A 5-year-old girl can feed nearly 18,000 people. What can you do? And what happened was, so many people from around the world responded, emailed in, started donating to her. Fast forward 6 months, come December, we've helped her raise $20,202, which can feed about 90,000 people. On top of that, there's more good news. Somebody sent me a link about Tyson, the chicken company. They had a Feed the Hunger challenge, and so we submitted her video. We won a grand jury prize. Last week, there was a big press conference. Tyson donated 15 tons of food, which is 35,000 pounds of chicken to the people here. So in all, we've helped her raise enough to feed 120,000 people.
Amazing. And this is just one story.
One story. 5-year-old girl.
So where do you find these people? Like, where do you locate their interest?
That's a great story. People email stories in. We research stories. A lot of the best stories, though, grow organically, and so just through conversations like this one might spark up an interest, you might think, or somebody watching might think, oh, wow, there's this cool story about somebody doing something. And those are the best ways, the best stories and the best ways to get stories. But we do also have a team that researches them as well.
Amazing. That's nice to know. And I also noticed, what kind of stories do you like to tell on this show? Obviously inspiring stories,
yes.
But what in particular?
Inspiring stories, but the only stories we really feature are stories that there's a call to action, or there's a way that you can help. It's not just inspiring just to feel good, but it's also, how does this inspire you, and how does this inspire and move you to act and help those people? Right.
And what would you say also, I see that you have had 10 years of television news reporting experience. How is your experience with Go Inspire Go different from traditional news reporting?
Oh, that's a great question. It's very different. It's like night and day. I also have reported for PBS as well, for a statewide show called California Heartland. And essentially, that's longer format stories. So what I'm doing is more longer format. It's not a minute 15 stories, wham bam, thank you ma'am type of stories. You develop the characters and develop the story.
I see. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
On that note, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for Toan Lam for joining us today. Make sure to visit goinspirego.com to see how you can make a difference in the world. You can also look for Go Inspire Go on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Justin Mendoza, and thank you for tuning in to SFSU TV, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Nice job. Good job.
Thank you.